My name is Joe Fernandez, and I'm running for Attorney General to change the way this state does business. Take on corruption, work toward a business climate that creates jobs, and make Rhode Island safer. I haven't spent my life going along to get along in our state's political system. And I don't have a history of trying to get my name in the papers. What I do have is a record of taking on corruption and mismanagement to make government work for regular Rhode Islanders. I'm certainly not a career politician. I'm a lawyer, and I'd probably still be in private practice today, except at the end of 2002, I got an unlikely call. The city of Providence needed real action and real results in the wake of Operation Plunderdome. It needed an outsider as its top lawyer, and I fit the part. Now, I'm sure there are some cities and towns where being the top lawyer is a routine job, but Providence in 2003 was certainly not one of them. We had well-known and well-documented examples of corruption that had not yet been addressed. We also had well-known and well-documented examples of mismanagement in government, the kind of practices that were, shall we say, not exactly best practices. I opened the legal toolbox and I used every tool I had. We eased out some of the former city regulars who were just marking time and brought in good new people, the kind of people no one had ever before asked to serve in city government. We worked until midnight, we audited everything, we opened up the books, and the hard-working city employees who were doing their jobs, like our criminal prosecutors, we gave them the tools they needed to do their jobs even better. Now, some of our accomplishments made flashy headlines, but most of them were just the results you get from good old-fashioned hard work. And they worked. One of the most outrageous examples was that a disgraced former police chief, driven from office by scandal, was still managing to collect a $59,000 a year public employee pension. The very idea that a disgraced former chief leaves office in scandal and renders dishonorable service to the people of Providence can receive a public pension still defies common sense. But the law didn't provide an easy or an obvious way to take him off the pension rolls, and so my office went into action, and we worked long and hard until we found a way to make it happen. And when we did, it represented a clear victory over the kind of corruption that Rhode Island politicians have tolerated for far too long. That's just one example. There are many more like it. Now, we didn't fix everything in Providence city government, and I'm not going to pretend that all the lessons that we learned are going to apply when I'm our state's next Attorney General. But one of the things that we found was that when you start to hold government accountable, a lot of other things get better too. I worked closely with city police and local officials to keep our streets safe. During my tenure as city solicitor, crime dropped by 30% over previous years. We prosecuted thousands of criminal cases every year and punished perpetrators of domestic violence and assault every day. We lowered crime. We grew the downtown and our neighborhoods. We created jobs. We made the city safer and stronger and a better place to live and to work and to do business. We looked out for our citizens as consumers, as taxpayers, and as customers. It made government better. And that made Providence better. And now it's time to make Rhode Island better. As you're well aware, our state has been rocked once again by allegations of public corruption. Corruption and mismanagement are offensive and embarrassing. But they're more than that. They're holding Rhode Island's economy back with a staggering 13% unemployment rate and a high foreclosure rate. The job of every public official needs to be about creating jobs and making sure that government is accountable to the hardworking people of Rhode Island when politicians try to use government as their personal slush fund. As Attorney General, I will work to make state and local governments more open and accountable. That will help create jobs by making the state a better place to start or to move a business. While others may talk or issue press releases about taking on public corruption, I am the only candidate for Attorney General who has a record of taking on the culture of special deals and special privileges that are holding Rhode Island back. I have been willing to take on the old ways of doing business, even when there are political costs. And I've gotten results. It is time to end the political lip service about corruption. It is time to end the culture of corruption with special deals and special favors that plague our government. It is time to end the embarrassment that we feel every time we open up the newspaper and find more allegations of political corruption. It's time for Rhode Islanders to have a government that is as good as they are. And that's why today I'm announcing a 3-point anti-corruption Bill of Rights that I will make as a top priority when I'm your next Attorney General. Number 1, Rhode Islanders have a right to transparent government free of corruption. To achieve this right, I will create the first state and local government unit to root out corruption, and I will criminally prosecute those who violate the public trust. Number 2, Rhode Islanders have a right to hold all of their elected officials accountable. To achieve this right, I will fight to make sure that members of the General Assembly are subject to the same ethics code as other government officials. I will also work to enact a law, clear constitutional law, that would make it a felony to sell or to buy the services of an elected official. Number 3, Rhode Islanders have a right to a business climate that creates jobs. I will fight endlessly to make sure that Rhode Island workers and small businesses don't have to fear for their job security because politicians and businesses are going to engage in pay-to-play deals, nepotism, and contract fraud. I will fight for legislation that will say that anyone who is convicted of bribery or attempted bribery or fraud will be permanently ineligible for making or receiving any government contract. I know Rhode Island can do better. And I know that every Rhode Islander deserves the same opportunities I've had. I was raised by immigrant parents who were endlessly enthusiastic about the American dream. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania where I was an altar boy and a Boy Scout. I went to Brown and Harvard Law School and practiced law in New York City, and my wife and I decided, we chose to move back to Rhode Island because we thought it would be a better place to live and to work and to raise our family. We have 2 beautiful young daughters in the Providence Public Schools. We are as committed as anyone to the future of this state. And that's what this campaign is about, the future of this state. We have an important choice to make in this election. We can either choose to maintain the status quo, or we can choose to finally start making government accountable. It's time Rhode Islanders had a government as good as they are. And with your help, I will lead the charge to change the way the state does business. Be assured, no one will work harder to make our state safer. No one has more practice at taking on the old ways of doing business. No one will be smarter about putting an end to the special deals and the special favors that are holding our state down. And no one is more committed to taking on any special interest that's looking to stick it to regular Rhode Islanders. It's time for real action and real results. I'm Joe Fernandez, and I'm asking for your vote for Attorney General.